Okay, so we're going to start right here at the James River Digital Notebook. Click that and open it, and then click the My Document tab, and you'll open the attached Google Slides, which look like this. Step 1, read this. This explains what you're doing, the purpose of this. Basically, you're being an ecologist and you're trying to figure out the amount of water pollution at different sites along this James River. It's the name of the river. Okay, and we're going to do that by looking at macroinvertebrates, which are basically insects and other organisms without backbones that are big enough to be seen without using a microscope. Okay, after you've read that, you get the purpose, then you can take a look at the map just so you have an idea of where we're going to start. So we're going to start at 1 and take a look at the critters that we pull up in our net there and record that on our data sheet, which I'll get to in a minute, and we'll keep going at all these different sites. Okay, cool. Slide 3. Here's your first actual task. This is like the pre-lab. You have some terms and you need to define them. Where do we find the definitions? Let's go back to the folder right here. James River Site Data. This is a really cool website that one of the other teachers created. This is the same thing that you read a minute ago on your slide, so you can skip that. Take a look up here. Life on the James River. Ooh, life on the James River. That must be it. Okay, so you're going to read through this. Pay attention to the italicized words and the bolded words. We tried to kind of point out to you the words that you need to define so you can grab those definitions quickly. But Control F is also a great tool to use for this, at least for some of it. Okay, so type some nice short definitions for each one. Note that this page does go all the way to the bottom, so keep scrolling down. Once you have all of your definitions put in, and this is important because you're going to get to use this on your major grade assessment at the end, okay? Once they're all good, then you are ready to do the real part of the lab. Okay, so for this, we're going to go to this tab of the website, Site Data. All right, you're going to organize the organisms according to species. You're going to use the identification pages to identify each species and record it on your data sheet. And then we're going to calculate the water quality of the collection site using the index values. All right, first thing, click here to make your own copy of the James River data sheet. Now, if you come back to this later, keep in mind that if you click this link again, like each time you click it, it's going to make another copy and another copy. So remember, after you've opened this once, to go and find it in your drive if you close it and need to reopen it. All right. Couple things about the data sheet that might be new to you. Notice up here it says Site 1. So this is all only for Site 1. Down here, our Google Sheets has different tabs, one for each site. So anytime you go to a new site, make sure you're on the right tab to record your data before you start. Okay, we are going to start at Site 1. So on the website, we're going to click Site 1 right here. Okay. Big misconception. These are not the organisms necessarily that you pulled up in your net. This is your identification key because buggies don't swim around in the water with names on top of their heads or below their butts, right? This is your key. You will have this at every site for convenience. Scroll down, and here are the organisms that you pulled up in your net at Site 1. Click this, and seriously, don't skip this step. Click that picture and make a copy so you can organize your creatures. And this will help you make sure that you didn't miss identifying a species. Okay? So I'm going to put this guy and this guy together because they're clearly the same. I'm going to keep going till they're all sorted. Okay, so I've got mine sorted, and I see that I have 4 different species of organisms here. Now, we're going to come over back to the website, scroll back up to the key, and I'm going to find them. Let's see, I'll start with this guy. It's kind of a very soft, rounded shell. Not that one, that's not quite it. Next. Nope, don't see him there. Oh, right here. So his name is the lunged snail. That is the species name. Okay, so on my data sheet, I'm going to find lunged snail. Now this is a lot of names to look through. So if you notice on the key, they're sorted by how tolerant they are to pollution. I am in the very tolerant of pollution section, which means these guys can live in really nasty water. On my data sheet, I have them sorted the same way, so it's going to be in this section. Lunged snail right there. Click the checkbox. Great. And do the rest. Okay, these guys. Oh, right there. And I have this guy too. Okay, so we have black fly larvae and midge fly larvae. Yep. Black fly and midge. Okay. And I have that weird worm. Alright, so it just so happens at this site that they were all tolerant of pollution species. At many of the sites, you're going to have a mix. I had the aquatic worm too. I did not have any leeches, okay? So really be careful. Make sure you get only the ones that you got in your net and all of them. Okay, now we need to do a teeny tiny bit of math. So first we need to count how many boxes we checked for each section. All right, well these are easy. 0, and then multiply it by whatever number I tell you down here. Obviously 0 times 3 is just 0, so we can leave it blank. I have 0 here, 0 times 2 is again just 0, leave it blank. Okay, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it says multiply it times 1. Easy. 4 times 1 is 4. Great. Okay. So, notice down here, this is going to automatically calculate your total index value for the entire site. For this one, you could have done it in your head too, but some of them get a little more complex, so this is our gift to you. Don't change the formula. All right. One last thing we have to do for each site, and you can do this all at the end if you want, or you can do it as you go. I'm going to do mine as I go. So come back over to your notebook, and we're done with this, by the way. Let me just close it. Here's our notebook. And right here, this last slide, it says Site 1, score, which is your total index value, which again was, in the yellow, 4. Okay, so I'm going to type a 4 right here. Now, what does that 4 mean? Well, take a look at your scale. It says if it's greater than 22, the water quality is excellent. It's not polluted at all. We could drink it almost. No, definitely not that. Okay, good is 17 all the way up to 22. Nope. Fair is 11 to 16. Nope. Poor is less than 11. Yep, 4 is less than 11, so my water quality is poor. Okay, great. So we have successfully completed Site 1. Therefore, make sure you change on your data sheet over to the tab for Site 2. Okay, and back to the website. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the website, and then click this button. Click here to return to the site list. Back on the boat, back to home base. Cool. And scroll down. Now we're going to go to Site 2. Once again, the key is at the top. Here are the organisms that you found on your list. Notice how this got a little more complex. We have way more biodiversity in this area. Okay? So I'm going to record those here. Identify and record, and then get my index values and copy my total index value for Site 2 over here on my table and determine the water quality. Continue for each site until this is totally filled out. Once it's totally filled out, awesome. You are ready to do the graded portion using this, so you don't have to submit this. I don't care if you submit it or not. This is your cheat sheet. You are ready to do the James River analysis. This is your major grade, okay? All right, if you have any questions beyond that, please ask me. It's what I'm here for.